Hello, everyone, and welcome to the recap episode, I guess, of The Fist of the Empire. Now, this is a D&D series that me and my buddies, Garrett, Jose, or Coast, as you know him, our other friend Barnes, and our newly joined friend, well, he's not newly joined, but he has joined us recently, Skylar. We all play a Star Wars D&D campaign where we sit around and just be nerds. Is what we do. We talk about random things as we go on because we all have ADHD in a sort. We're just a bunch of idiots, is what I'm saying. But because my recordings didn't exactly go for the first 6 sessions, I'm going to give you a brief recap of everything that's been done for the first 6 sessions, and then starting in the next recording of this will be our actual going over of things, like how our sessions actually go, and you just see if you enjoy it. I hope you do, because it's fun. So, starting in session one, we start 3 years after the Empire has begun. In a in one of these ships, I cannot think of what it's called at the moment because my notes didn't start out this well. But upon our ship, there is a normal looking normal looking commander. The only as normal look as normal people go, as a normal human, uh, as normal humans go, he is kind of a lot paler than most other humans, but he has icy blue eyes and completely white hair. His name is Lynx. Uh, yeah. As Lynx is coming into into this hallway to go to the briefing room, he runs into a Keldorian, like a brown Keldorian, also, as most people would know, like a Placoon, as Master Placoon's race. As they pass by each other, Lynx looks at this Keldorian, just randomly walking the ship, and asks him, "Hey, who are you?" The Keldorian looks at him and says, "None of your business. If it was your business, you wouldn't matter." As the Keldorian walks off, Lynx kind of just thinks to himself, "I'm above his station. Whoever he is, I'm in charge. I don't care." As the Keldorian walks into his quarters, he kneels down, and a hologram of the Grand Inquisitor stands there. Grand Inquisitor with his bald head, pale white skin, his red eyes just staring at me. Jafon Darlow, you know what needs to be done. This base that you and this ship are approaching, you are going to kill the Jedi that is there. There's nothing much known about the Jedi, but you will kill it, and you will become an Inquisitor. Jafon kneels there. Yes, Grand Inquisitor. The next few moments, the Grand Jafon joins everyone else in the briefing room, which the people in the room are Lynx, an ensign of Female hair? A female. And a bunch of troopers. Lynx and the others join Jafon on the ground. God, my notes are just not good for this. At least for the first session. This base that is very large. As we approach the door, the gate, it's dark, can't really see much, but we see there are two guards on the outside. We sneak up, knock them out, and we can see 4 pikes on the inside. We aren't seen by all the darkness. As Jafon reaches in and feels for the Jedi, he knows they're there, but he doesn't know where they are. The ensign, Lynx, and the private is Jax Wren. They sneak into the base and they start looking around trying to find out where exactly all these pikes are, like what enemies are around this base. Private Jax throws Lynx into a higher area and he starts sneaking around, seeing how many other people are around, and sees where he can set a bomb. As the ensign drops an explosive, he sets it a little incorrectly, and it's about to go off very quickly. So the ensign runs back, joins up to the private as a guard is noticing him, but the explosive goes off, taking out that entire section of the wall, and the guard goes down with it. After everyone notices this, the guards are alerted and they start attacking the rest of us. After they start attacking the ensign and private, the rest of us join in on this fight. As we start approaching, you see Jafon reach out his hand and pull a member of the pikes out of the tower, and he just falls. After a few attempted jumps and failing on some of those jumps, Jafon reaches up to one of the higher grounds, pulls 2 bars out off of his back, and ignites the saber axes. He walks up, hits, and deflects a few blaster attacks from him, and moves about. As this entire fight is happening, between everyone shooting each other and everything is fighting, Private Jax is intimidating one soldier, just yelling at him, saying "fuck you," about an Ezekiel, like, "what's your name" situation, and finally gets him to stand down, gets another person to stand down with his intimidation, and we have 2 prisoners automatically. As I run up and chop the head off of one enemy, I see that there is a sniper and he takes a shot on the corporal. As I see the sniper, I use burst of speed and run around and cut into his shoulders with my axe. As my axes cut into the shoulders, the rifle seems to have a long bar at the end that isn't connected but with a mechanism. I realize he pulls the rifle up, disconnecting the bar. He pulls a double lightsaber out, and it revealed it is a woman. She swings and hits me. This is the Jedi I've been sent to kill. And as I'm about to pull one of my sabers into her, a shot goes off and hits her. She falls unconscious. As the others are starting to capture the prisoners and get them all into bindings, and we find out that the corporal is dead after being shot way too many times, I sit there contemplating whether I should kill this Jedi. That's what the Grand Inquisitor told me to do. But I sit there thinking, if I capture this one, I could get information out of them and find their master, because this is just a Padawan. I choose not to kill them, and we take them to the ship. Session 2. As we are taking the prisoners to the flagship, Lynx and I get called to the bridge. The bridge is full and busy as normal. We are told we will be docking on the Blood Tide, but they want us to interrogate the prisoner, the Jedi. As we go in there, as we are taken to the interrogation room, we start asking her questions, figuring out who she is. Her name is Tyla Upward. She is an apprentice of the Jedi Quint Stoma. She was still very young when the Jedi betrayed the Republic. And as she says that the clones did it, I tell her, it simply was not the clones. You betrayed the Republic. You did all of this. She was in Umbara when it happened. As I sink into her to see if she is telling the truth about this, I can see that she is telling the truth. That she was in Umbara, and that the Jedi were not the ones who betrayed them. As I reel back, my mind starts getting heavy and just wondering what is happening. She tells us to let her out. Lynx and I both get this amazing feeling to just, we should let her go free. That's all we can do. She makes another attempt and tells us to take her to the escape pod. While that doesn't work on me, it works on Lynx, and he tells me that he is my superior commander, and that I should let us walk her out. I don't want to argue, because if it's his fault that we're doing it. The two of us start making our way to the escape pods. She wants us to take the binders off with another trick, but we tell her no. We don't fall for that one. But we still let her escape. She slips into the escape pod and releases. As the intercom comes on, we are snapped out of our trance, and we get called to the office. As we are there, the Grand Inquisitor's hologram pops again and tells me to kneel. As I put my axes forward onto the ground, accepting the fate that has been given to me. The soldiers around put a tranquilizer on me and cuffs. Lynx and I tell them that the Jedi tricked us, and that we fell for such a simple Jedi mind trick. That's all we can do. After being placed in cells for days, it feels like, they put me in a private room, and a hologram of the Grand Inquisitor appears again. He tells me that he is disappointed in my progress, and he wants to see me do better. I get one more chance. So he tells me I'm going to stay with the crew and head to Ryloth, where young Tyla has told us is where her master is. We go along with it. Sure. And the Grand Inquisitor wants them all dead. He wants every single one of these Jedi dead. And lets me go. Lets me choose to kill them. A couple days go by as our ship is approaching Ryloth. Cran Herrick is the new accounted corporal, and Jax Wren is brought into the ranks. He gets an upgrade. Gets made a leader of sort. As we drop out of hyperspace, we feel the explosions around us of battle, and we don't know what's coming for us next. Session 3. Meeting in the ship's doors, we see the battle on Ryloth. So we all make our grand decision that we should move down there and handle it ourselves. We move to the ground and hide behind some cover. As I'm reaching out my extent to feel the Jedi's presence, I feel a kind of cough of Force energy, but not enough to be Jedi. I look up and see the Imperial ships are pulling off because one of the bigger ships is completely up in flames. It looked like one of our ships. As Lynx put a drone into the battleground, quietly, he discovers that there are 21 enemies within the base. An enemy almost saw us, but Lynx stunned him. Lynx put on some clothes of the guy he stunned and walks into the base. He's gone for a while, and then comes back. Tells us that the mission's done, that he has successfully sneaked into this base and planted multiple bombs, ready to go. So we head back. As we get back into the dropship, the lieutenant tells us that the main team was taken down, and it's been 3 hours since, and tells me that the Grand Inquisitor wishes to speak to me. I head to my chamber to speak with the Grand Inquisitor, while the other two are getting even more upgrades. He tells me that the 3 Jedi are Tyla Upworg, Kento Marek, and Baku Dan. The Grand Inquisitor wants me to kill all 3 of them, but if Lord Vader could not defeat Kento Marek, how could I? And I ask the Grand Inquisitor if I may have a signal to call in one Inquisitor of my choice, just in case for backup, if I ever so needed it. He replies, I may, but it will deem very low on me. Session 4. As Lynx takes over his new ship, the rest of us are brought into the meeting room to see what we're all up against. As they do a recon, we see that there are E-web turrets, heavy air and land turrets all over the place. As Lynx, the stormtroopers, Corporal Jax, me, the ensign, and Lynx get into the meeting room, we start going over the debrief of the plan to do. There are apparently a lot of hostages around the area, so we need to be careful where we do. He tells us to not engage the Jedi until prisoners are out. As we walk to the exit doors, I take all of my energy, all of my rage that I feel in my heart for the 2 Jedi that rejected me, that saw too much anger in me and chose me not to be a Jedi. Master Plo Koon and Master Windu will regret what they did to me. As we get to the base, all of us, I try to reach out and see where the Jedi are again. I cannot detect them. Something is blocking me. Corporal Jax decides that he's going to give me a detonator because there might be munitions for the big gun. He walks around and sets 2 other ones on some of the other bombs next to the turrets. We come up with a plan that lets me conceal my own force powers, walking in and just stealthily getting to the munitions. As we get there, as I approach the munitions, I can see the Jedi. I see Tyla, Kento, and figure out that Baku Dan is a child, 12 years old at most. As I start to approach the munitions, an enemy sees me. I reach out my hand and call calm emotions on him. But then as I do that, I realize my concealment is down, and the Jedi are slowly approaching. Session 5. As they start to approach me, I pull back my hood, still keeping calm emotions on the other, and tell the Jedi that I am a friend, and that I was sent by Saw Gerrera to help with anything that might cause harm to us. As Tyler recognizes me, and the other two see that I could possibly be a friend, they tell me, sorry. They tell me to hand over my weapons, and as I slowly do, an explosion rocks the entire structure from the bombs that Corporal Jax has laid out. As the explosion rocks the entire structure, Kento lunges at me. I try to push him back, but he still gets a good hit on me. And as they all start to circle me, they can sense the darkness inside of me. I tell them that even I may be bad, I may be good. You could all, because of my knowledge and schooling from many years of studying the Jedi and Sith ways, I tell them that even young Anakin had some darkness in him. As I say this, Kento tells me that he knows the secrets about my Dark Lord, that Anakin is the Dark Lord. I rush that off as I start to feel the fight of the battle. Tyla pulls something on me and makes me start to fall unconscious. But before I do, I pull out my axes and cut Baku's head right off as I fall into unconsciousness. Now, while this is happening, Lynx has called in a strike to hit all of these different munitions boxes, trying to shoot every turret that is in this facility. And Kento jumps up to block some of these attacks. As I wake up, I jump up to Kento and tell him that I'm not done with him. As I start to stun him, he jumps over me and goes after the rest of the troopers. In the interim, Corporal Jax is on the outside looking in the barracks, these little dust areas, trying to figure out if someone is there or not. And he finds General Saab Wayland, a brigadier. As Kento jumps toward the munitions, I get a radio signal telling me to jump off the ball. I look up and there's this TIE coming flying in, about to attack. And I can see that they're about to shoot the munitions. So I run as far as I can, jumping as far as I can get, and getting away from the explosion that I know is about to happen. As the explosion happens, I feel the rocks of the building start to fall on me, and I am crushed under the rubble. Session 6. In the interim of all of this fighting, there is a big, dark figure breaking out of his chains and coming and getting ready to leave all of these other hostages behind. But then he starts to fight a guard. He bites him. He gets rid of him. He does whatever he can to him. As he comes out of the base, as he comes out of the base, he finds this pile of rubble and can hear the sounds of someone breathing. He sees the med pack on my shoulder as soon as he gets out there. He gives it to me, and as I wake up, I see this tall, dark, black-furred Wookiee, and he has a pole to my neck, asking me who I am. I tell him it's none of his business, but he gets in my face and tries to tell me again. And as he does this, Corporal Jax has a gun to the back of his head, telling him to stand down. And as the Wookiee starts to turn, he recognizes Corporal Jax, and Corporal Jax knows him. This is Snar Frischka, a Wookiee from back in Corporal Jax's younger days. And this Wookiee can apparently speak very well. He just forgets some words, or doesn't understand certain words that people may say. As we start to approach back onto the ship, Lynx has a conversation with the Brigadier and asks him if he knows anything. While the Brigadier tells him that he's grateful for being alive and being on the ship, he's worried that he might be brought to someone that he shouldn't be. As they converse, Lynx sends a drone over to a big factory making non-Imperial weapons, the same Y-Wings that we fight on a daily basis, are being made by General Tarkin. Admiral Tarkin, my apologies. As we start to get back onto the ship, Lynx and Snar have a little disagreement. But Commander Jax nut checks the Wookiee and lays him out a little bit. And I approve, because Snar is a little asshole. As he does this, Jax hands Lynx the lightsaber that belonged to Baku. I see this, and I'm very perturbed that he would go after such a thing. As I go back to my quarters, the Grand Inquisitor calls me, and as I tell him the Jedi are dead, he tells me he will indoctrinate me into the fold as the 19th brother, and will make up for lost time. Lynx tells the Brigadier the information that he found, and then they converse about the next time they meet. That since he was being so friendly, the next time they meet and they're on opposite sides, they will put their blasters down and walk away. I know this isn't much of a retelling of the story because there was a lot of moments that I missed, mainly because I didn't write down some of the other people's notes, but that is completely fine. I hope you guys do enjoy the story, and you'll hear more of it by the time me and my friends come about it. But, hope you enjoy. See you in the next one. Goodbye.